Greetings and welcome to the sixth review in our mid-2019 video review series. I'm going to look at, well, it feels like a recently deleted cigar, but in fact it's 2 years now. The Hoyo de Monterrey La Hoyo de Prince, discontinued in 2017. It's a unique size. It's 40 ring gauge by 130 millimeters. The factory name for it is Almuerzos. In regards to Cuban cigar culture, it's commonly thought of in the same breath as the standard Petite Corona size, 42 ring gauge by 129. This De Prince cigar, very popular on Friends of a Balance before it was discontinued. In fact, it was so popular that when the discontinuation, the 2017 discontinuations were announced a couple of years ago, I don't think too much after that, too long after, they were practically sold out and they weren't available on Friends of a Balance on 24 listings again. And I'm thinking that would have been around late January 2017, and that was it. Though they were much more popular on Friends of a Balance, I think, than what they were worldwide. I think amongst other vendors worldwide, they were available for a short time, maybe another 6 months, and then that was it. They were gone. But if you were fortunate enough to pick them up, you know how good a cigar these were. There's a reason why they were popular. It's a lovely Petite Corona option when you want one, and I'm glad I have some left. I've got about, I think, a third of a box of these and another box resting. I want them to age way more long term. And so just want to discuss, before I go into lighting it, the cold draw on this cigar. It's beautiful sweet hay. I'm really looking forward to lighting this up, and I'll do that right now. Now, while I'm lighting up, I can tell you that this De Prince belongs to the La Hoyo line. So there's your normal Hoyo de Monterrey line cigars, which is like the Epicure 1 and Epicure number 2, Epicure Speciales, Hoyo de Monterrey Double Corona. And then there's the La Hoyo line. Wow, that's really nice. Whew, really good. Oh, yum. So the La Hoyo line, there's been a number of these cigars that have been discontinued in the last 10 to 15 years. I'm thinking of the Duroy, although it's not official on Cuban Cigar website, the Du Gourmet, I think that was gone 2013. Another one that's not official on Cuban Cigar website, but we're fairly sure that it is deleted. The Du, which is the most popular La Hoyo cigar on our forum. That's one of my favourite sizes. A Coronas Grande is 42 ring gauge by 155 millimeters, just a bit over 6 inches in length. Size is similar to a Cohiba Siglo 5 or a Monte Cristo Tubos cigar. There's the La Hoyo, this one that's just recently, I think it's the last La Hoyo cigar that's been deleted in 2017, the De Prince. Other La Hoyo cigars that are still in current production, the La Hoyo de Mer, which is a very small 30 ring gauge by 100 millimeters in length cigar, similar to the Ore del Mundo de Mitas. The La Hoyo de Depere, 38 ring gauge by I think it's 110 millimeters in length. I think, fairly sure it is around that size. Very similar to a Menudo Perla size. And some recent additions to the La Hoyo line. The La Hoyo Rio de Sego, which is I think 56 ring gauge by I think it's around 150 millimeters in length. I'll have to check that up. I think it's around that size. And the one that came out just before this one, the La Hoyo de San Juan, which was a Genialis size, 54 ring gauge by 150 millimeters in length. That came out in 2014. And if there's one generalization I can make in how the La Hoyo differs to your standard Hoyo de Monterrey cigars, I think La Hoyo, Hoyo de Monterrey cigars are noted for their creaminess, especially more as they age. The La Hoyo de Deux is especially noted for that. So I think that's why it's the most popular in the La Hoyo line, and that is because they can be known for that creaminess that makes it very distinctive. But the La Hoyo line in particular, I think, a little bit more, or more woody, more oak, more cedar than your normal Hoyo de Monterrey cigars, which maybe they have more cocoa to them. I'm thinking of Epicure 2 or Epicure number 1. They have more cocoa, whereas the La Hoyo would have more cedar or oak or wood. And the other thing is, from my experience, the La Hoyo cigars, if you don't find cream in them, and sometimes I found that I don't get that cream in them. I get more of that, what I'd label as like a forest floor mushroom, slight earthy or vegetal flavors in them. So I've had older Depressa cigars that have been more of that, that mushroom forest floor flavor. But this one is very much your classic oak, like a heavy wood oak. Cream is definitely there. A nice, beautiful vanilla spice. And I think these are the reasons why these were so popular on our forum. There was a stage there, folks, where on 2015, 2016, they were very popular. They were smoking really, really well, and every time they went up on 24, you couldn't buy them. Something similar to what the kiddos say number 50 and number 54 is at the present time. If you weren't quick enough, you weren't going to get a box. That has some nice vanilla and cream sweetness to it that I'm really enjoying. What I'm going to do is I'm going to leave it there. Smoke this into the middle third. As you can see, I'm really, really enjoying it. I'm getting great smoke from very little draw. The draw is fantastic. I'm going to smoke this down, come back in the middle third, and discuss the flavours there. Coming into the middle third, as that creaminess has given way, it's got a little bit more spicy. The wood flavours are way more intense. That forest floor, deep forest floor flavours, certainly dominating the cigar at the moment. And the intensity of flavour, it's quite intense. Very flavoursome cigar. So one of the interesting things about Hoyo Monterrey, it's considered a lighter strength cigar, but uh, I found that with these Hoyo cigars, especially with the Prince, they can be quite intense in flavour at this age, even though they're 3 years old. What that suggests to me is that they certainly have legs for long term aging. Um, uh, I've got 8 sticks left, a third of a box, as I said, and I think I'm inclined to let them rest for much longer at this stage. I do enjoy the fact that there is a bit of complexity there. The flavours have changed. Um, However, I think if you want that creaminess or that the vanilla to be more consistent throughout, and you want that woodenness to give away a bit more, you need to age them much more. And the La Jolla line's known for that. It gives back to you when you age them. Now, in regards to comparing this to the recent La Jolla cigars, which is the larger ring gauge cigars that have come out, the Rio de Seco 56 ring gauge and the de San Juan 54 ring gauge cigar. That was slightly different in the sense that from the get go, they were quite good. In terms of their smoking, they had like I'm talking about the San Juan because I haven't had a chance to sample the Rio de Seco yet, but I have some Rio de Seco cigars coming. So I hope to sample one soon in the next few weeks. But those two cigars, more in the San Juan, when I sampled those earlier on and when I aged them a bit, even after a few years, they had those tea flavours and creaminess to them, and they're more, as I mentioned in previous reviews, it's the characteristic that was prevalent in those cigars, the San Juans, was toastiness and crispiness. They certainly were toasty, and not so strong on the that cedar oak, that strong cedar oak, or forest floor flavours that I'm talking about in this cigar. But just having drawn on that now, I'm still getting a nice sweet spice, vanilla type spice on it, and I'm a bit sad, I guess, that these are being discontinued, especially when I did a search on Cuban Cigar website today in regards to Petite Coronas, and I've noticed, especially in the last 20 years, so many Petite Coronas sized cigars being discontinued. Now, in regards to the premium quality cigar options in the Petite Corona range, we've only got maybe 5 or 6, 7 left. Bolivar, Petite Corona, Cahiba Siglo 2, Monte Cristo number 4, Polarana, Petite Corona, Rafael Gonzalez, Petite Corona. Now we just had the Sancho Panza Non Plus recently announced as being discontinued. So there's also the Bolivar Tubos number 2. And there's some others that aren't as prominent. Romeo and Juliet, Petite Corona is still around. I think a couple of years ago we had some retrospective releases of Parting's Capitals and the Romeo and Juliet Club Kings, but I haven't heard too much about those cigars. I don't know if they've been released or I've not heard too much about those two cigars, if they're still coming or they're just late. But I guess the point I want to say is that this sort of size is not around, and this was once a very common size. The Corona size, the 42 ring gauge by 142, was probably the size that you'd look for uh, in the Habanos catalogue, and the Petite Corona was up there as next to the Coronas. Now, with the Habanos SA favouring more larger ring gauge sizes, that's been replaced by the Robustos and the Petit Robustos. I could see that's what has happened. Anyway, let's just leave it there and go back, come back into the last third and see how this cigar progresses. Into the last third, and still got that heavy oak, heavy wood flavour. The flavours have been really intense for a cigar that's just over 3 years old. So as I said previously in the review, it suggests to me that this can benefit from much more aging, much more rest. As I said, I'm inclined, the way this is smoked, it has offered nice complexity, but I'm inclined to let my last 86 really rest for quite some time now. Might not touch another one for another 2 years. And certainly that box that I'm resting on, I'll leave that to the side. In comparison to the San Juan and the Rio de Seco, I think they would be more ready to smoke, more younger. I think that's how they've been blended, but that's just my opinion. Mr. Prince has certainly got more heavier oak, more heavier wood, forest floor type flavours than those two cigars. Definitely. But again, into the last third, although the flavour's been intense, it's not hot, not bitter, and I'm still getting to that nice sweet spice, vanilla type spice I was talking about. The creaminess is not there, that's for sure. The smoke output's been fantastic all the way throughout, and it's a gorgeous winter's day while I'm smoking. It's just perfect weather to smoke this. Anyway, I hope you've enjoyed this review, and I look forward to seeing you again in the next review. Until then, happy smoking.